Hey, this is Marcus Washington here at Cap 1. Final score tonight, Butler 90, Georgetown 66, in what has got to be one of the worst performances Georgetown has had this season. You know, we've seen them get blown out before. They got blown out at Marquette. But this was bad. This was ugly. Looking at the stats aren't going to tell you anything different than what the score does. You know, they always talk about film don't lie. This is one of these times where numbers don't lie. You know, Butler shot 56.9% from the floor. In the first half, they shot 62%. In the second half, they shot 51%. Think about that. In both halves of a game, on the road, in a Power 5 conference, you shoot over 50% from the floor? You know, I know Georgetown has its challenges defensively. I mean, we all know. I mean, Ray Charles would know. But this is more than just you're not a good defensive team. This is you all are a dreadful defensive team, and the coaching staff has not found a way to make you a better defensive team, whether that's playing more zone, whether that's doubling the post, whatever that it is, the coaching staff has not found it, because this is inexcusable. And I think at the post-game press conference, Cooley said that in conference play, they have not held an opponent under 50% shooting yet. That's mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling. And when you think about the points in the paint tonight, points in the paint for Butler was 42. 42 out there, 90 points came in the paint. And it's because they posted any and everyone. Because Georgetown switches everything, and I asked Thad Mon about this, and he even alluded to it. They switch everything. So then when they switched it, whatever was the switch into the mismatch, they went after. And they just powered over anyone in the paint, especially when it was a guard on guard. So you saw they sought out on switches. They sought out Jaden Epps and just bodied him, or Heath, and just bodied him, because Georgetown continuously switches everything. They switch 1 through 5. At least they're switching 1 through 5 as of today. And now this is the challenge. You go through these conferences, the Big East is one of the few conferences where everyone plays everyone twice. So now we're starting to roll back through, not with every team because they haven't played St. John's yet. They haven't played Providence yet. Providence is the next game. So now when you get through the second time around in the conference and they have film, they're looking at their guys, they're looking at the things that happened in the first game, and they're making this tweak here and this tweak there. When you're a bad defensive team, now you open up every tweak to their natural actions that they can think of, because you can't defend. And that's what happened today. Georgetown can't defend. And then when they don't defend, what do? They shoot three-pointers like they're going out of style, like there's a 7-point shot. And then they shoot it like there's a 9-point shot. Then they shoot it like there's a 12-point shot. Then they shoot it like there's a 17-point shot. And then now your missed shots is their first pass of a fast break. And now all of a sudden, the game goes from, oh, I'm down 9 to, oh, I'm down 19. Because now your offense is a partner in crime to your porous defense. And that's what it was tonight. They cannot panic. They cannot shoot a bunch of threes. This cannot be done and expect to win a game against anyone in the Big East, nevertheless a team like Butler, who was coming in here playing well. Like I said in the pregame, both teams were playing much better than the first time they met. What happened was Butler brought their much better to D.C., and Georgetown left their much better on the campus. And this is not to rip anyone individually for Georgetown. This was a team effort of a poor performance. It was a team effort. When you let someone shoot 62% in the first half, and sometimes it's 62%, you're like, all right, man, I know they're not going to shoot that way in the second half because they made shots that were out of character, or they made shots that doesn't generally go in. If you take away If you take away Brooks's one banked in three, okay, now that's something else. He banked in a three for the win. Everything else? Oh, no. Everything else was repeatable in the second half because it was coming in the basket, it was coming in the paint, it was off a ball rotation, and it was an open three. It was all of those things. Georgetown has to be better in so many facets, but part of it starts with composure. Part of it starts with there has to be a leader on the floor that says, let's get a good set here. It can't always come from the coaching staff. It can't always come from Ed Cooley. Sometimes it has to come from the kids on the floor, and then the kids got to own it. They have to own it and say, hey, we should be doing this. We should be speaking up. We should be communicating. We should be stopping this. And not cooling. They're not miracle workers. This roster is what it is. It is what it is. These guys got to take some pride in what the hell they're doing. And they got to open up their mouths and they got to understand that this is a build. Everyone knows it's not a rebuild, it's a build. These guys, with the exception of Masood, these guys are all going to be, with the exception of Masood, as far as the portal guys. The other portal guys can come back next year. This is where you get into good habits. You get into winning habits. Getting into winning habits doesn't always mean you win. But getting into winning habits ensures that you win next season. And then building upon those winning habits with more talent, that ensures you win more the following season. That starts. It's why Patrick Ewing's led teams were never going to win. Because they never believed and never built and was never patient enough and never worked hard enough to understand how to build something sustainable. I expected that out of that staff because they were over their heads. I don't expect this out of this staff. So that means you got to convince the kids as a staff that this stuff belongs to you. And you have to do this. And you have to hold you accountable. You have to hold your teammates accountable. It's got to be a you thing. A you thing. When they do that, they'll make more game-winning plays. And I guarantee you, if they do that, there's going to be some times in February that this team will win when you say, damn, man, I didn't think they'd beat blah, blah, blah tonight. Right. Because now you're getting into those game-winning habits and you're making game-winning plays. And now, defensively, even though you do have some gaping holes, defensively now you get 3 straight stops. But right now, don't see that sort of commitment. Don't see that sort of commitment from the guys who are out on the floor, and that's where it starts. Coach staff doesn't play the game for you. This is Marcus Washington from MTC Media.